Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome. I'm here with James Devitt from BlueStar Spiritual and BlueStar Healing, the workshop that's coming up in May to Grimsby, Ontario, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. If you don't know, I'm Hal from Reiki with Hal. So we're going to do a little interview here with James to find out exactly what's going on with this amazing BlueStar workshop that's going to change your life. So James, welcome.
Thank you very much, Al.
How are you down there in Australia?
Yeah, it's humid. We've been having quite a bit of rain, and it's very, very humid at the moment. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're getting rain.
Oh, yeah. We haven't had any real trouble with the bushfires this far north, but a lot of the different areas that have been getting some rain, so that's been good.
Awesome, very good. James and I, just a quick little catch up here. I started following James on his lives, and just felt really drawn to listen to him more and more and more. And James came up here last year, spent a day with us, and it was absolutely fantastic. And the bond that we've created was actually created most likely hundreds of lifetimes ago, maybe even longer. So this is fantastic. I trust this guy 100%. So James, can you tell us a little bit of how this modality that you've created or co-created came to be?
Well, basically, it's like I've had a couple of instances in my incarnation in this life where I've had direct interaction with beings from the fifth dimension, from somewhere else. And they have manifested themselves physically here. In 1995, my partner at the time, her name was Morgan. We lived in Sonoma, California, and she arranged for her and I to go to a healer. Now, this was a healer that I had never heard of before. I never saw her before, never saw her after this one healing session. But what intrigued me was Morgan said, oh, well, she does etheric implant removal and she does light language. Now, I had discovered in 1990 that I was a healer. And from that, in March of 1991, I became a Reiki master. Now, I became a Reiki master simply to learn a treatment. So you start here, you finish here. So that was all good. And so we go to this healer in 1995 in Sonoma. And Morgan and I were like in her bedroom area. It almost feels like it's a share house type accommodation. And she's basically going between Morgan and I, pulling stuff out, talking in light language, which intrigued me because it's like, I had never heard of light language before in my life. I had never heard it, never heard anyone speak it, nothing. And then all of a sudden, about halfway through the session, she stops and she turns to me. And Morgan is sitting there with her eyes closed. It's like she's not even there. And this lady, she looks at me and she goes, Morgan has a Roman helmet on her head, but I need your help to remove it. Now, I didn't think about it in that moment, but later on I realized she didn't need my help removing a simple helmet. I mean, I remove things that are like 20, 30, 40 times more challenging than a helmet. So she didn't need my help, but she asked. So of course I said yes. And when I said yes, it was like a light switch was switched on and I could do etheric implant removal and I could speak in light language. And from that, I have learned that I can speak any number of light language dialects. I have probably spoken over 3 or 4 dozen different light language dialects. I've even done quantum sign language and things like that as well. So once the session ended, it was like neither Morgan nor I ever spoke about this healer again. We didn't even speak about our experiences in the session. It was like, it was what had happened to me remained, but any discussion or anything like that was gone.
Right.
And so I've come to learn that the young lady who did the healing and who opened me up to this, I know her on the other side of the veil as Michaela, and she works in the temple that handles all of the star seeds, all of the volunteers, their bodies, their actual true bodies that they will go back into when they finish on this earth. So she was never actually incarnated on this planet. And so I had this incredible healing modality to use, and Spirit kept telling me it wasn't time, it wasn't time, it wasn't time, until the end of 2015, and then they said, now it's time for you to start teaching this. And I got to admit, Hal, I mean, I was freaked out, because it was like, okay, I understand this healing modality. I've never put it together to teach, and I've never taught it before. How am I supposed to teach this? Because I've got nobody I can talk to on teaching this, because nobody knows this healing modality. And I taught the first workshop in Mangaraki in Wellington, New Zealand, in April of 2016. And since then, we've done 16 workshops. And it is extraordinary. And the thing is the fact is I finally asked about a year and a half ago, why did I have to wait 21 years before I could introduce this to the world? Why did I have to wait so long before I could teach this? I have seen it transform lives in every workshop. I've seen people walk in one way on the Saturday morning, and by Sunday afternoon at the end, they are completely different than the way they were when they started. And I was told that the reason that it had to wait is because the planet had to get to a particular vibrational frequency before it would work properly and before it could be introduced here. So it's amazing. Last year we branched out. We've done these in Australia and New Zealand, of course. And last year we went really far afield and went on to the other side of the world to Edinburgh, Scotland, to do the workshop. And like you said, we were there in April of last year. Got to meet you and Kathy, and I'll correct you in one little thing, Hal, just one little thing. It's true, we've known each other for a long time, but it's not over several hundred lifetimes. We knew each other before this project ever began.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I know that for a fact. I know that for sure. So it's extraordinary, and it changes lives like you would not believe. The attributes of the healing modality is next level. It's always evolving. It's always changing to match the vibrational frequency as it changes on the planet.
Right. You know that I can't wait for this. I'm very excited for this. I've had my higher dimensional friends, brothers and sisters out there, related through other people, that this is going to change my life. And so I'm very excited for it. What can people expect in the workshop?
Well, on the Saturday morning, of course, we start with the introductions, of course, with everyone. And basically, the first part of the day is the demonstration. And then as people are doing treatments on each other, I literally guide them every single step of the way. I tell them when to move, where to move, everything like that. I teach them about setting their rules. I teach them about the lack of limitations of the healing modality, things like this. I'm also, at the same time, running energy through everyone, supporting everyone. And I make it as much of a personal experience for each person doing the workshop as I can. And then on top of this, Janice is also there. She's holding the energy. She's also running energy throughout the day. And she will interject when needed or anything like that. And then on top of that, by the time we're getting ready to go to lunch on Saturday, I do the first attunement. Now there's 3 attunements in total. There's level 1, level 2, and the master attunement. Now, most people don't get this explanation until the workshop, but I'm going to give it to you right now. These attunements, the first attunement is the first level of access to all of the encodements that you'll ever need in doing any healing on any person, no matter where they're from, no matter as a star seed. They could be from any world, any galaxy, any planet out there, and you'd be able to access whatever encodements you needed to work on them and to assist them in healing. And then we go to lunch, we come back, and then usually by the afternoon, late afternoon on Saturday, I start having people just do the treatment on their own. And then by the end of Saturday, we do the second attunement. On Sunday, we start off doing treatments. Then we'll move into doing group treatments where we have 2 people working on 1 person, things like this.
Right.
And then we get to a point. Now we also demonstrate, usually on the Saturday, invariably, Spirit has made sure there's always at least 1 person that needs a chakra replaced. And so I will do a demonstration of that. We have a very specific way of doing it, where say we have a person who's going to have their throat chakra replaced. I'll have them sit on a table. All of the participants have to come up, feel the chakra themselves as it is right then and there. Nobody speaks at all. Once everyone's done that, I replace the chakra and then have everyone come up and feel it again, the differences and everything like that. Then I allow those people, all the participants, to share what they experienced, what they felt before and after. Once that is done, then the person that I've done this to, they then gets to express what they experienced as well. Now on the Saturday morning, when a person first walks in, they're making a commitment to something extraordinary. And I'm not talking about the fact that at the end of the workshop, they're going to put their shingle up and they're going to start offering BlueStar healing sessions with people. If they do, that's fantastic, of course, but it's not about that. When they walk in, they're showing a commitment to themselves and to their own spiritual path. They get connected to a 5th dimensional BlueStar healing grid that was created by Denaith, who is the master healer on board the BlueStar, who's a member of the High Council of the God Star. Him and his twin flame, Donna, are in charge of the medical facilities on the BlueStar and in charge of the medical side for all of the star seeds and everything like that. And so they get connected in that. And what that does basically is you do the workshop, right? And then 2 months later, you're doing a BlueStar healing session on someone. You can literally draw on the power of every single person that's ever done this healing modality, who's done the workshop, because it reverberates throughout this grid work and allows you to do more things and things that you didn't even think were possible, all sorts of things like that. You also get a team of 7 beings that come from your actual home world, who are your personal medical team. They have been trained by Denaith to work with you specifically. And anytime you do a healing from the workshop until the day you cross over from this world, they will be there with you and assist you in every healing you do, whether it's in person, by distance, or whatever.
Incredible.
And then on top of that, then on the Sunday afternoon, we have what's called the BlueStar initiation. And this is where the individual that's doing the workshop, they get on the table, and I am sitting at the head of the table. I connect into the person at their meridian points, which is at the top of the shoulders. Then there are 3 people, 3 of the other participants on either side of the person, and there is a person at their feet, holding their feet. The person at the feet is basically grounding the person. The other 6, 3 on either side, they are loosening every single thing that can be loosened within that person. And when it reaches a particular vibrational frequency, I have them back away. I have the person at the feet release the feet, and then I remove all of that crap out of the person. It is literally a transformational moment. Then we finish up with the final attunement, the master attunement. Now, the attunements are done a little bit differently than anything you've ever experienced. The first and second attunements are done by myself. They are individualized for each individual, and it's done in light language. The last attunement, the master attunement, is done by Denaith himself. I channel Denaith, and Denaith does the final master attunement for each individual that's doing the workshop. And then we end up with a little bit of fun having Fendrick come in and hand out the certificates, and he normally gives people a personal message as well.
Incredible. Listen, if anybody out there has not seen James's videos channeling, you can go to BlueStar Spiritual, and you also have a YouTube page. Is it the same?
Yeah, the YouTube page is BlueStar Spiritual. There's over 60 channelings on there. We're actually doing a channeling today in about an hour and a half.
Yes, I'm trying to stay awake for that. But I tell you, it's well worth it. If you want to connect to James's energy, to see him in action channeling, that's what really got me watching James, was connecting to these channelings. It's very, very powerful. You're able to ask questions. Spirit will answer those questions for you, whether you like it or not. But it's the truth. It's what you need to hear. So it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, very, very good. I would definitely recommend you guys check out James's page and get a little more information on James there. So with this class as well, you don't need any experience.
No,
you don't have to be a healer already.
No, I mean, it's like we've had people do the workshop who has never done any healing modality of any kind. We've had people do it who are Reiki masters, who do EFT, who do different healing modalities. And this is such an evolving and pliable healing modality. You can actually take the BlueStar healing method and incorporate it into other healing modalities that you're using. It's one of the things that people find is that they're not like grounded in, you have to do it this way. You have to start here, you have to finish there. That is the only way you can do it. That's not how this healing modality works. I teach it a certain way, start to finish. And there are people who have learned this healing modality that if you went and watched them do a healing, you would never realize they were doing the BlueStar healing method. But they are. It has to conform, because the bottom line is, as starseeds, we have come from over 200 different worlds. We all do things a little bit differently. We all have our own truths. We all have attributes that are different from each other. So you have to have a healing modality that works for everyone. Now, some of the attributes of this healing modality is very simple. We can replace damaged chakras. We remove devices, both dark devices, light devices, devices that someone in this incarnation, even unconsciously, has thrown onto you. We rewire people. There's wiring that goes through. You learn about the total number of chakras, which is actually 43. There are 43 chakras in the body. You have 7 main ones, but you have 43. We even teach a technique. You only use it, in like an extreme case if you actually need to. But we do also teach people how they can actually change all 7 main chakras at the same time. It's an extraordinary thing. We removed entities, creatures. We remove swords and shields and past life objects that we carrying around, slave collars, shackles, pins, all sorts of things.
Right.
And so it's an extraordinary thing where you are literally, the whole point to this healing modality is is designed to assist star seeds in their preparations to go home. And that's why it had to wait until there was a certain vibrational frequency before it could be introduced.
Right. Oh, perfect. Yeah, incredible. Is there anything else that you're also doing something on the Friday night beforehand?
Yeah, on the Friday night beforehand, we are doing a live event at the same venue as the workshop.
Casablanca Inn Hotel in Grimsby.
That's it, Casablanca Inn Hotel there in Grimsby. And it's going to go from 7 to 9 p.m. I'm going to be doing a talk and everything. People can ask me questions. I'm even planning on doing a couple of demonstrations of replacing chakras that need to be replaced. And then I'm going to be channeling Gideon. Gideon is fairly new with me, and he has created a partnership with me, and he is the main individual that I'm now channeling for the public. And we are also currently almost finished with his first book. So we're going to do the channeling and everything on the Friday night. Now Gideon will probably come in during the workshop, as will Danae. Al Sharon may show up. Sananda will probably show up. Of course, on Sunday afternoon, Fendrick will be there. Danae will definitely be channeled on Sunday afternoon, doing the master attunement. So yeah, it's going to be very full on. It's going to be one of the most incredible spiritual things that you've ever experienced. I can assure you of that. Now, the Friday evening event is $30 per person. The workshop on the weekend is $550 Canadian with a $200 deposit. We have 18 slots left. We've had a lot of interest, but we haven't actually started real advertising on that until now. So,
right. So if you're interested, sign up because there's only 18 spots. We know how many beautiful star seeds there are in our area. They're all going to want to sign up for this. So first come, first serve, my friends. So contact myself or James at BlueStar Spiritual, and we'll get you signed in and start the rest of your life. For those of you who are kind of just waking up and you're hearing about all these devices and beings inside you and everything, but doesn't resonate with you right now, don't worry, it will. So it's a very powerful course, 100%. So thank you very much, James.
yep.
As always, it's a pleasure to chat with you and to see you. I look forward to seeing you in 3 months.
Yeah, we're looking, Janice and I are looking forward to getting there.
Yes. Thank you, my friend.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Say hi to Janice and sign up.
Much love and many, many blessings. Bye-bye.